You have some questions, don't you?
Yeah, I have a few questions about mostly mobility in terms of my lower body. My lower back and my hamstrings has always been something that's given me a problem, even while I was doing sports when I was younger. And so it's more some questions about putting stretching into my workouts and kind of how I should go about doing that as someone who's not really ever stretched properly before with results in mind.
What you want to do is increase your flexibility, right?
Yeah.
And in order to increase our flexibility, it's different to working simply on the recovery aspect of it.
Okay.
So we need to make sure we're spending a good 2.5 minutes to 5 minutes per day, especially the days when we're training, working on that flexibility.
Is there a set range of time I should be aiming for? Because my plan is to have stretching before and after my workouts. I then also have a day where I'm doing cardio, but I'll stretch before that as well. So like in terms of timings and knowing how much I should be stretching and for how long.
So I would say split it around your workouts. So before your workout, make sure you're doing a good 1 minute at least per body part that you're focusing on, that you're stretching. And then after your workout, you're doing another 1.5 minutes if you're starting with those 2.5 minutes to increment your flexibility. 1.5 minutes to 5 minutes to see a big difference.
Yeah.
But in terms of the structure, stretch daily, because if you already have a stiff body because of all the sports that you've played over the years, then it needs that regular maintenance now, and it needs to slowly be brought back to its natural length. When people say they've got knots, that's a misconception. There's no knot. It's just the nervous system is telling your muscle to go back to their natural length.
Okay. So that's good. So I know exactly kind of how long I should be doing each stretch for. Of course, certain stretches will do maybe your whole body, maybe it's your hamstrings, your quads. So what recommendation would you say in terms of balancing that? Because of course you said 1 minute to 2.5 minutes each day. Of course, is there any downside to going over that, or what would you say is the best way to manage that?
Yes, so you got to be very careful. A lot of people develop paresthesia, and that's when you're overstretching. So your nervous system is telling your body, this is dangerous, I need to stop. And some of the symptoms that you will see is numbness, sensation of heat, or pins and needles. Bring it down to the 1 minute. You can break that 1 minute into 4 sets of 15 seconds. So essentially it's about balance. You do not go from 0 to 100. If you just started stretching recently, you're gonna have to ease yourself into it. So if, let's say for someone to achieve the splits, which is one of the highest forms of flexibility that the body can express itself in, can take you a good 3 months to get down by, say, about 40 centimeters down to the floor. I don't know inches, guys. So it could take you up to 3 months. It can take longer, less. But I would say if you were doing the max, which I would recommend per body part or per movement, which is 5 minutes, and then you do the splits, awesome, right? But for the isolated parts, oftentimes it requires a combination of movement. So I wouldn't just do passive stretching. I would combine it with dynamic stretching. I would combine it with PNF stretching, which is the proprioceptive neurofacilitation technique, where you're working actively with your nervous system. And that, you know, it really depends on the body.
Okay. So of course that would be where you come in.
Yeah, that's where I come in and do the assessment and help you understand your body and get you into the positions and do the work and repetitions that you need.
Okay, yeah. So I guess, of course, I'm not someone who wants to do the splits. I kind of just want to feel more loose when I'm working out, and just at home sometimes getting cramps and other things like that. So you'd recommend, like you said, you'd say aim for 5 minutes if you can, but manage it to maybe 1 and build it from there.
Exactly, because you might not respond well since you haven't been stretching for so long. I think that's the most entry-like requirement really for stretching. A lot of the time we are looking at those bigger things, people that are doing flexibility or must train for a crazy back bend or a split, but you just want to feel better. You don't want to cramp up so much from your football and your training at the gym.
Yeah, exactly that. And so leading on from that, it would be that balance again. Of course, when I'm working out, let's say tomorrow I've got an upper body day, would you still recommend I stretch my full body or just my upper body when it comes to that?
Well, that's very interesting, right? Because when you're doing upper body, what is holding you up?
True.
Is your lower body, right? So if you already have an impingement or pain around your low back, your legs, and now you're doing explosiveness with your upper body.
To be fair, you've done that, and there's not much, I think, else I need to get. I think, yeah, you pretty much covered everything.
So it was a perfect Q&A.
Yeah, perfect Q&A.